Is the Ruger LCP Max still the best .380 in 2024? The ballistics gel portions of today's video are filmed at the little slice of heaven we affectionately call the training center. In today's video, we're going to revisit a firearm we took our first look at going on 3 years ago, the Ruger LCP Max. Much like the previous versions of the LCP family, the LCP Max is currently one of, if not the most popular, pocketable .380s, concealed carry, personal protection, you take your pick, firearms available today. Like many popular things, it has a very robust fan base. You'll often see positive comments like, "I pocket carry my LCP Max a lot, love the little gun." But like many popular things, there's also a very rabid group of anti-fans of this little firearm they unaffectionately refer to as the little crappy pistol. In this video, we'll try to help determine which side of the fence the Max edition of the lightweight compact pistol lies upon in 2024. Along the way, we're also going to briefly discuss some other common questions tossed out like, "I've been looking for the best carry ammo for my LCP Max," and "Hollow points don't reliably expand or reliably penetrate in .380, and I just used full metal jacket for the .380. To help answer these questions, we're going to use 3 common ammos found in stores in our area and take a look at the accuracy, velocity, and ballistics gel performance of each ammo. Before we get into the ammo, let's first take a moment to discuss the LCP Max for our newer viewers or those unfamiliar with the LCP Max. The Ruger LCP Max is in the pocket class of micro compact double stack firearms. It is chambered in .380 ACP, weighs in around 10.8 ounces, has a 2.8-inch barrel, is internal hammer fired, and uses Ruger's secure action trigger system. Depending on where you live, 10 and 12 round Ruger magazines are available. As an added bonus, the firearm features replaceable high visibility night sights. As far as center fire firearms go, the LCP Max has a desirable combination of high capacity in a small package. To assess the performance of the LCP Max, we will be shooting 3 different types and brands of ammunition. They are the Fort Scott TUI, or Tumble Upon Impact, 95 grain solid spun copper projectile. This ammo has an advertised velocity of 940 feet per second out of a 4-inch barrel. The next ammo is Hornady Critical Defense with a 90 grain FTX, kind of like a ballistics tip, projectile. This ammo has an advertised velocity of 1,000 feet per second out of a 4-inch barrel. And Winchester Silvertip, 85 grain defensive jacketed hollow point. This ammo also has an advertised velocity of 1,000 feet per second. They don't mention barrel length, so we're going to assume a 4-inch barrel here as well. For accuracy and velocity, we have 6-inch targets set up at a distance of 10 yards. We will take 5 shots with each ammo and compare the groups, as well as use our Labrador Doppler chronograph, aka Doppler 1, to get our velocity measurements. We will then head to our training center and engage some blocks of 10% FBI grade ballistics gel from Clear Ballistics to assess the performance of this ammo beyond the numbers on a page and holes in paper. If we experience any failures, they will be noted along the way. In past .380 ballistics gel videos, we have often done a 9mm segment to help highlight any differences. In today's video, rather than using another 9mm pistol, we are instead using another pistol chambered in .380 ACP, the Beretta ADX Cheetah. The main reason for the ADX being used is it has a 3.9-inch barrel, which is the closest in length we had to the 4-inch barrel mentioned on the ammo's boxes. Will the difference in barrel length lead to a noticeable and meaningful difference in terms of velocity and/or hollow point expansion? That's another question we hope to help answer along the way. It's time for the part of the video you've all been waiting for, starting with the Fort Scott TUI. Let's hit the range.
867, 866, 855, 872, 847.
This is our 5-shot target for the Fort Scott TUI ammunition.
918, 929, 927, 921,
915. And here is our 5-shot target for the Fort Scott TUI out of our 80X. We're going to quickly break down the velocity numbers for the Fort Scott TUI. The Fort Scott TUI has a 95 grain solid spun copper projectile. The advertised velocity was 940 feet per second out of a 4-inch barrel. Out of the 2.8-inch barrel of our LCP Max, we have an average velocity of 861 feet per second or 156 foot-pounds of energy. Moving up to the 3.9-inch barrel of our Beretta 80X Cheetah, and our average velocity went up to 922 feet per second for 179 foot-pounds of energy. As expected with the longer barrel, better sight picture, our target for the 80X is much nicer, though I would say the targets we see with the LCP Max today are more representative of the shooter's skill than what the firearm is capable of, though in general I would say your accuracy with the LCP Max will probably be less than something like the 80X Cheetah, in my not an expert opinion. Let's move on to the Hornady Critical Defense now.
$884, 905, 914, 941, 902.
Here we have our 5-shot target for the Hornady Critical Defense out of the LCP Max.
963, 988, 953, 964,
996. And here we have the 5-shot target for the Hornady Critical Defense from our 80X Cheetah. We're now going to break down the numbers for the Hornady Critical Defense. The Hornady Critical Defense in 380 has a 90 grain FTX projectile. The advertised velocity on the box is 1,000 feet per second out of a 4-inch barrel. Out of the 2.8-inch barrel of our Ruger LCP Max, our average velocity is 909 feet per second or 165 foot-pounds of energy. Moving up to the 3.9-inch barrel of our Beretta 80X Cheetah, our average velocity goes up to 973 feet per second or 189 foot-pounds of energy. Our targets for the Hornady Critical Defense, I'm going to say, are very good for both firearms. And of note, the Hornady Critical Defense target from the LCP Max, that's the first 5 shots I took on the day of filming. Usually the first shots I fire through the LCP Max on a day are my best shots, which is a good thing considering in a self-defense situation they're probably not going to give you a couple test magazines to start with. Anyway, I would say this target represents how I shoot most quality self-defense ammo from the firearm, so keep that in mind. And now let's finally get some numbers for the Winchester Silvertip.
$9.91, $9.39, $9.52, $9.37, $9.19.
Here we have our 5-shot target for the Winchester Silvertip ammo.
Okay, there was a 984, 987, 1002, 1017,
1035. And finally, our 5-shot target for the Winchester Silvertip out of the ADX. And now let's break down the velocity numbers we got for the Winchester Silvertip. The Winchester Silvertip with the 85 grain defensive jacketed hollow point has an advertised velocity of 1,000 feet per second. We're assuming that's out of a 4-inch barrel. Out of the 2.8-inch barrel of our LCP Max, we achieved an average velocity of 948 feet per second or 170 foot-pounds of energy. Increasing the barrel length to the 3.9 inches of our Beretta 80X, and the average velocity went up to 1,005 feet per second, or 191 foot-pounds of energy. Our target again for the 80X looks pretty good. There is one flyer on there. Yes, that's me. Yes, that's annoying every time. It is what it is. Our LCP Max target, again, not that stellar, though, as I said in the Hornady video, that's more the shooter than the ammo in this case. After putting some holes in paper and crunching the numbers, one interesting trend we see is the difference in barrel length from 2.8 inches of the LCP Max to the 3.9 inches of the ADX Cheetah is translating to approximately 60-ish feet per second across all 3 ammos tested. For 2 of the 3, our average velocity is below or well below what is printed on the box. We're about to find out how those numbers impact the results on our Ballistics Gel Test media. A couple of notes before we do. For the first block of gel, we're going to use the LCP Max and shoot the Fort Scott TUI and then the Hornady Critical Defense. Because I'm no Annie Oakley with this firearm, the third block of gel we shoot will be the Hornady Critical Defense and the Winchester Silvertip, again from the LCP Max. The second blocks of gel we will be using the ADX Cheetah and shooting all 3 ammos at it. With the limit of 3 blocks we have today, we felt this combination would allow us to hopefully capture the differences between these ammos and how they perform from our 2 test firearms. It's time for your favorite part of the video, the Ballistics Gel Tests. This is Fort Scott TUI out of our LCP Max.
I think that went all the way through. I saw the high-tech police bullet stop move.
I think I saw it roll onto the floor maybe even. Okay, yeah, that one went right along the top, completely through again. Yep. I feel like I saw the bullet roll onto the floor because I saw something fall. With the Beretta, this should be easier. Okay, are you ready? Ready.
you got serious that was.
Okay, all three of those hit. Okay, well, two of them. It looked like three, but two of them. Well, is there three in? I think there's two of them in the gel. Yeah, two of them. All right, here we go. Fort Scott TUI. Oh yeah. So both of those went completely through the block, low on the block, but completely through it. Okay, here we go. Hornady critical defense.
Fire one more. Yeah, they were a little low.
All right. That's probably low again.
Yeah, I think it was. You hit it, but
Let's walk down and see, because we might be able just to reuse the block for the Winchester silver tip. Oh yeah, we're okay. Here we go. I think at least two of those are higher up in the block.
yeah, I could see it all three did.
Okay, we have a Winchester silver tip and a Hornady critical defense in there. We'll begin the ballistics gel breakdown with our Fort Scott TUI ammunition and its 95 grain solid spun copper projectile. Off of our caliper, the measured diameter of the projectile was 0.3545 inches. Out of the 2.8 inch barrel of our LCP Max, we had penetration of greater than 16 inches. It completely penetrated through our ballistics gel block. The expansion was not applicable. The rounds that we captured in the high-tech fleece bullet stopper showed no evidence of deformation or expansion. As expected, it didn't really impact anything besides gel, air, and blanket. Out of the 3.9 inch barrel of our Beretta 80X Cheetah, we again had penetration of greater than 16 inches. The round went completely through our ballistics gel block, and again, no evidence of expansion or deformation. Now let's compare those numbers against our Hornady Critical Defense with the 90 grain FTX projectile. Off our caliber, the measured diameter of the projectile starts at 0.3549 inches approximately. Out of the 2.8 inch barrel of our LCP Max, we had penetration at approximately 8 inches for all rounds fired. The round expanded to 0.4730 inches, or is about 33% larger in diameter than where it started. We're going to say that's a decent level of expansion, though you'll be the end judge. Out of the 3.9 inch barrel of our ADX Cheetah, we again had penetration to 8 inches, though the expansion was to 0.5771 inches, or about 63% larger in diameter compared to where it started. We're going to say that's a very good level of expansion for this projectile. In addition to numbers on a page, let's see if we can use images to appreciate that expansion difference, we'll say. I'm going to colorize the unfired Critical Defense red, the Critical Defense out of the LCP Max in yellow, and the Critical Defense out of our ADX Cheetah in blue, so that we can visually see the size difference now. Here the rounds are, one on top of the other, to help illustrate the size difference between where the round started and the expansion after the LCP Max and the ADX Cheetah. You can see quite a bit of expansion, one compared to the other, and then the other. Let's do a similar breakdown now for our Winchester Silvertip. This has the 85 grain defensive jacketed hollow point. Off our caliber, this measured at 0.3560 inches. Out of the 2.8 inch barrel of our LCP Max, we had a penetration of about 7.5 inches. The round expanded to 0.5585 inches, or about 57% larger. Moving to our 3.9 inch barrel of our Beretta ADX Cheetah, and the penetration came out to 9.5 inches, and the expansion was to 0.6781 inches, or about 90% larger than how the round started in diameter. We might as well do that similar size comparison. So here are the rounds as they started. In similar fashion, the starting projectile will be in the light red, the projectile from the LCP Max is in yellow, and the projectile from the ADX Cheetah is in the blue color. And here they are with the rounds one on top of the other. You can really see the difference in expansion from where that round starts versus where it's capable of ending after the ADX Cheetah. In my opinion, this is one of the cooler graphics we have ever created on the channel so far. Let's complete the circle now and do an overview for each firearm. For our LCP Max and the Fort Scott TUI, which has the 95 grain solid spun copper TUI, the average velocity was 861 feet per second for 156 foot-pounds of energy. I'm saying we had good accuracy, 100% reliability, our penetration was greater than 16 inches, and the expansion was not applicable. For our Hornady Critical Defense with the 90 grain FTX projectile, our average velocity is 909 feet per second, which translates to 165 foot-pounds of energy. I'm saying we had very good accuracy, good reliability, with penetration at 8 inches on the block. We saw 33% expansion, with expansion up to 0.4370 inches. Now for our Winchester Silvertip with the 85 grain defensive jacketed hollow point. We had an average velocity of 948 feet per second. This translates to 170 foot-pounds of energy. I'm saying again we had good accuracy, very good reliability, and penetration to about 7.5 inches on the block. The expansion was to 0.5585 inches, or 57% larger than where the round started. Comparing those numbers against our ADX Cheetah, for the Fort Scott TUI, we had an average velocity of 922 feet per second, or 179 foot-pounds of energy. Our accuracy was very good, reliability 100%, with penetration greater than 16 inches. Again, expansion not applicable. For the 90 grain FTX projectile, our average velocity was 973 feet per second. The energy is 189 foot-pounds of energy. Our accuracy, I'm saying, was very good. We had 100% reliability. The penetration was to 8 inches on the block, and our expansion expanded to 0.5771, or about 63% larger in diameter. Finally, our Winchester Silvertip with the 85 grain defensive jacketed hollow point, our average velocity was 1,005 feet per second. That translates to 191 foot-pounds of energy. I'm saying our accuracy was very good. We had 100% reliability, penetration to 9.5 inches. The expansion was to 0.6781 inches, or about 90% larger in diameter than the round started. You might be like me and wonder, what do all 6 of those rounds look like, one on top of the other? Well, let's find out now. Computer enhance. Before we get to the conclusion of the video, there's an important topic we need to briefly discuss. While the LCP Max is extremely popular in large part due to its small size, getting down to that small size doesn't come without a cost. The LCP Max is a very challenging firearm to shoot at a level most people will feel comfortable about. Speaking of challenging, one thing you almost never see mentioned in the posts or comments of those who pocket carry the LCP is how easy or challenging is it to draw successfully from said pocket. We'll briefly flash back to some clips you saw in the intro. Our GoPro overheated and shut off at a bad time for filming, but that's probably for the best with how bad my technique is that you shouldn't try to copy. Take classes from a professional, I'm not that. Luckily, target cam was still running. In the clip you're about to see, I'm going to start with my LCP Max in a pocket holster loaded in my pocket. I'm going to draw and engage the water jug target in 3 shots or less. For comparison, we repeat this test with the 80X with it in an inside waistband holster.
It's on.
Okay. Okay, firearm is in my pocket.
I'm going to say ready, set, and then when I say go, I'm going to hit it.
Okay.
Ready, set, go. Ready, set, go.
3.5 seconds.
5.52.
Okay, that's pretty slow.
Well, but you know, 5 seconds was getting it out of your pocket.
Yeah, right. Which is going to be the problem a lot of people have.
Right.
Is, and then I probably lost, you know, 1/3 of a second or more because the holster came out with it. But that's also a problem people are going to have.
Yep, that's right.
Yeah. Oh well. Okay, here we go. Okay, whenever you're ready, I'm ready.
Okay. Ready, set, go.
That's pretty good.
Okay, what do you think that one was?
4.5.
3.44.
Oh, I cut a whole 1.5 seconds off.
No, you cut off almost 2 seconds.
That's an eternity in a life-threatening situation.
Yeah.
Do you want the cameras rolling for your attempt? What do you think your time was? 1.15. In my trying my best to not shoot myself on camera on pocket draw, my time came out to 5.52 seconds. Factor in that I was told when to draw rather than it being a surprise situation, and that situation in reality is probably much worse than my turtle speed 5.52. For my ADX, my time to draw for my inside waistband holster was 3.44 seconds. Again, not that fast, and I knew when to draw, so real life time is likely much slower, but a difference of 2 seconds still stands out as meaningful to me. With proper training and practice, could I get those times to be much faster? Absolutely. Do I think my pocket draw time would ever be fast as my from the waistband draw time? Nay, nay. In short, just because my LCP Max is easier to conceal doesn't mean that it's necessarily the easiest firearm to use or to make use of. As we wind down this long but hopefully very informative video, we're going to let the numbers and how you choose to use them be the conclusion. Some people are going to use minimum numbers for penetration and expansion to find what is good enough. The surprising ammo for me today was the Fort Scott TUI. For some reason, I didn't expect the ammo to go completely through the block. I should have, since we've seen that with non-expanding 22 long rifle out of a snubby in the past. But anyway, I've said in a few past videos that out of my LCP Max, I get the best accuracy with the Fort Scott TUI and a managing recoil. So it is what I prefer out of my LCP Max. Seeing the Ballistics Gel results today helped solidify that choice for me. While I think we got good enough results for the Hornady Critical Defense and Winchester Silvertip, the door has certainly been left open for those who like to argue for so much expansion and so much penetration. Well anyway, we hope you enjoyed the video today. Thanks for watching, and as always, have a good day.